Welcome to the faith of our fathers and brother Kitson Sherman. And with me we have Presbyter, LeBlanc. Good evening, sir, and thank you for joining.
Good evening, my dear brother, and it's a pleasure.
All right, so I want you to tell the viewers where you're from and what's your responsibility in the field where you're working, sir.
Okay, I am originally from Dominique, but I live in St. Martin from 1995, and when father lived there, and after school, I felt I wanted to be closer to him because I just started in the nation, so I decided to make St. Martin my home for that reason. So on St. Martin is my profession. I'm a partner in the sales manager of a distribution company. But my passion was with the church. And so be but that is
And that sounds good. That sounds good. The series is called The Faith of Our Fathers. And it's interesting that you mentioned that you went into ministry as support to your biological father, Moses Christ. But we know that there's so many persons who do not share the passion that their parents share for the gospel. What is it that convicted you to serve in said capacity?
well, I honestly that from the time that I was born, and my mother didn't even sorry because I was a lad. But she taught me that when she got pregnant with me, and she dedicated me to the Lord. And a few things that happened in my life growing up, I was very unusual. As a matter of fact, I became a Christian when I was 14 years old. That's my second year in high school. And those of you who went to high school, are very my 14-year-old becoming a Christian is like very difficult. And for me, it wasn't. I just felt that there was a drive in me to do the work of the Lord.
The work of yes. That's intriguing because we know adolescence is a difficult assigned to fears. But for you, you said that you use it as a push factor, as a push factor to really pursue the things of Christ. What about the developmental stages now? Of course, you would have been serving in the kingdom, but what made you want to stick to ministry or stick to that part of it?
But it is just to retract a bit, which I would like to appeal probably to those of the young folks in their early teens, because at 40 years old, you're probably at in your second year in high school or third year. And I will have to say that it wasn't very easy for me because a lot of kids would tease me and
Tease you all, the Christian boy.
the Christian boy or the guy who afraid girls and something like that. And he looked at me, I never really took it on because I think I had my mindset on what I felt within my heart. And at a very young age, I thank God that He has taught me to listen to my heart. And I take a very clear view of what's happening around me and how young people's life my age was going. And I didn't want that go. And so I stuck to it because I knew what I was doing was right. And to fast forward a bit, when I left high school at the age of 16, the guys who were at school with me from first form became Christians.
And that was the message tonight, the ability to reach the lost.
That's right. That's right. He became Christian. And in fact, I met him in the BVI in 1994 because, like I said, the BVI friend, he got married to a young Christian lady. And he came to me and said, his dad wants you to please forgive me for the many times I teased you.
I have a similar experience with a friend from high school. And when I heard this person in the room went to a church, we went praying. I heard somebody speaking into I'm like, you could not be the same guy who teased me for reading my Bible at school, on the school bus. So that's very important. And what to say to those younger folks who are listening, you have to stick with the conviction that the Lord has given.
You will never lose. You'll never lose. I was head of the youth department at the age of 15 years. All the entire group within my age group They were 1 year, 2 years older than myself. And it was just so refreshing for me to be able to reach young people at my level. And I said that right now as a pastor of the church. I said, I speak to my, because I have two elders, adult, young adult children. And my last is 13. And so I explain to them, there's nothing in the both of them but rather than do.
But there are those who might argue that the challenges that you went through at 14 are pretty different from the challenges that even here a younger child is going through now. How do you speak to them?
Well, it's obvious. I mean, it depends on how you showcase talent. I think in every dispensation, every generation, there are challenges. And it's not a different approach to resolving issues. It's the same thing that works way back then and work today. You got to be focused on what you want.
And that's the word as well. It seems to shut the very appearance.
It will stay away.
Yes.
If you don't go and explore, you don't go and investigate to see how it works, because you will make enough fool of yourself. Whatever happened back then will happen today. I always said that you cannot reinvent the wheel.
It's a saying.
It's the same. It's not going to change. So they will say, okay, once today I have a headache, I want to smoke. Or today I'm frustrated, I want to drink. But studying all those who have smoked and drink consequences, it's not going to change consequences. And so this is what I say to them in my own harsh way. I said this, that you cannot change the wheel of change. You must decide, if I'm going to do this, I also need to prepare for the consequences of that action. Because there are consequences. And when you get to the consequence part, you say, wow, I made a big mistake. I feel big dying. And it's okay to recognize a mistake, but it's still not better than doing it.
That's true.
So it's just to say that, somehow high-tech world, fast-speed access to information access, availability, all of those things, but it doesn't change the fact that the strong-mindedness that you need, the strong resilience and determination and conviction that you need, is going to be the guide that will take every young person through life to keep, and that's not going to go away. Your choices you make in your earliest stages will benefit you on the long run, or would hurt you on the long.
And that's true. And that's a powerful lesson. When we examine all the things that we've heard so far, like the conference 2023, it ties into the same message that we are supposed to live life, and that's when we reach those around us. And like even David, even though he had his perils, right, and their consequences never left his life and his family.
That is true.
But God still using them.
And I mean, the issue about God's mercy is not the discussion here. I think that we know God is mercy. No matter where you are, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what shortcomings you have, that don't change God's love for you. But when you listen to those who have been ahead, who is advising you, it is better than it. Don't get into it because God is merciful. Because at the end of the day, God will extend mercy, but you will still live with the consequences.
All right. So in wrapping up this interview, what will you take away from Conference 2020 back home? Is there anything that has impacted you? Is there anything that you've heard, a word that has renewed your focus that you would take back home to your mission?
Well, for me, everything has been beautiful. I think that the conference on a whole has been pretty much in line with the vision that I've shared with our church in St. Martin, and the extension in Dominica. And it speaks to what our church is about. We have just concluded a month of prayer and fasting every night to our church, beautiful session, and went back home because fasting and prayer ended on Tuesday, and I was traveling on Tuesday. So on my way back, I want to enforce the importance and the necessity for evangelism. And I think for the next 6 months to a year, this is where our focus is going to be, to evangelize and to evangelize effectively. And we have a very wide ministry structure in place. But for me, I'm never at ease as long as there's one more soul not saved. So that's why I don't look at the size of a congregation. I look at the needs of the community. And I know for that God has spoken to me tremendously to all of his ministries, and especially tonight, that we are going to activate all the plans that we have in place, reinforce the need for effective missionary work in our communities, and especially among our young folks. And I have already communicated with Presbyter that I'm coming out with the intention that they can enforce that next necessary to get the job. And indeed, I'm looking forward for you guys putting that team together on the process.
I hope Bishop is watching this video.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'll talk to
I'm
him.
sure they will be excited to.
I
And
want
that's
you
in
guys to
July.
come.
You actually.
I mean, yeah, we want to come. We have our conference in July, but we also have a youth convocation. And my vision, what I would love to see happen is where all of you young people come and join us in St. Martin and really reinforce, because some man is very different, and
That's a culture.
it is a vast cultural difference. It's a heavily tourism-based economy in fast life, and there's a lot that's going on that can captivate the minds of their folks. And the young folks need to know that there are young people their age out there that are serving the Lord and doing it well.
And interestingly, it's the same coin with a different face, because it's the same thing here. And I think when we work together, we can accomplish so much more.
And that's the point.
And that's why we are fellowshipping, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have sharing with us. And I'm sure that everyone who listens will be encouraged, and we hope that you'll have a safe flight back. And at the close of my asking the same question as I asked Bishop Molan, what's your favorite Jamaican food or meal? When you like this about the food here?
Rice.
And he says that without a smile. Are you serious? Just rice.
I've had a lot of Jamaican friends. I had one particular sister.
Come closer. I want to get a close up at what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm wondering what was happening before.
No, I want to hear you say that.
No,
That's right.
honestly, I mean, I had a friend of mine. Okay, she's a convert. She got saved. I baptized her, but she's a chef. She's also and she used to make my small pot of rice and cheese every Sunday for me. And the day she don't bring it, we have a little problem. And that's how serious that. And the thing is, I travel a lot for business, and whenever I travel, I look for rice. And
The secret is
to say to you guys, there's Latin leather Jamaican rice.
the secret is the coconut milk. There you have it.
Not even that. There was a discussion here. They say don't use the can, use the fresh coconut.
But then again, how do you prepare? So there are levels to the secret.
Yeah.
Bishop Presbyter LeBlanc, thanks for joining us for Faith of Our Fathers, and it has been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
A safe journey back.
Much strength and continue to do good work, all right?
All right, God bless you.